Hey there, friend. Pull up a chair, sit down a moment. You got time for an old man's ramble? I promise I won't bore you. Well, maybe just a little. But I'll make you laugh, cringe, cry, and maybe even scare you back into remembering your own name. See, I'm Paul Walker, not the movie star, though I did once get a wink from a waitress who thought I looked like him. That was 30 years and 20 pounds ago. I'm 80 now, and life's taught me some hard-earned truths I wish I'd known decades ago. Let me tell you about the day I forgot my wife's name. Yep, that's how this all starts. I stood there in the kitchen, holding a glass of orange juice, and I looked at the woman I had loved for 53 years, and I couldn't remember her name. My throat dried up, my fingers trembled, and then, like some cruel joke, I smiled to cover it. "Hey, darling," I said, pretending I was just being sweet. She smiled back, but in her eyes I saw something. She knew. That moment wrecked me. Now don't click away, friend, because if you're over 65 and you've been misplacing names, don't you dare brush it off like it's nothing. It's the body whispering something before it starts screaming. The sneaky beginning. It starts small, forgetting your neighbor's name. What's his name again? Ted, Ned, Red. You tell yourself, it's normal, it's aging, everyone forgets things. But here's the kicker. It's not always just forgetfulness. Sometimes it's a warning siren. I started noticing it in my late 60s. I'd walk into a room and forget why. Happens, right? Then I'd forget the word for something simple, like a refrigerator. I call it the cold box. My grandkid laughed. I laughed too. But inside, I was terrified. That fear, that's what no one talks about. The quiet panic in the background. So let me ask you something, friend. When was the last time you blanked on someone's name and just laughed it off? Because I did that over and over until I couldn't laugh anymore. Flashback to my 70th birthday. My family threw me this big party. Balloons, barbecue, bad karaoke. Everyone came. My kids, my grandkids, even my neighbor Frank with his new teeth. I was sitting there surrounded by love, and my daughter leaned over and said, "Dad, you remember my friend Melissa? She's been your accountant for 10 years. And I blanked. I had no idea who Melissa was, not even a flicker. My heart thudded like a marching band. I smiled, nodded, shook her hand, and lied. "Oh yeah, of course, Melissa, good to see you again." I had never been so scared in my life. The nightmare that woke me up. One night, about 2 years after that party, I was reading a book, well, trying to, and I looked at the words and they started swimming, like my brain couldn't catch them. I felt like someone had turned off a light switch. Then, the dream started happening. Not just the forgetting, but the unraveling. I'd forget to turn off the stove. I left the keys in the freezer once. That one got me laughed at Thanksgiving, until my son pulled me aside and said, "Dad, are you okay?" And I broke down, because I wasn't okay. The visit to the doctor. Now listen here, friend. I'm gonna say something real important, so lean in close. If you're forgetting names more often, don't wait. Don't ignore it. I went to a neurologist. They gave me a bunch of tests, some weird ones, like drawing a clock or remembering 5 words after 5 minutes. I failed half. That's when I got the news. Mild cognitive impairment. Not dementia yet, but the road ahead could lead there if I didn't change things fast. And let me tell you something. That diagnosis didn't feel mild. It felt like my whole world was shattering. I fought back. But I didn't let it end there. No, sir. I rolled up my sleeves and told myself, this brain's been with me 80 years. I ain't giving up on it now. So I started doing everything I could. Some worked, some didn't. Some surprised the heck out of me. And I'm going to share it all with you, friend, because maybe it'll help you remember your wife's name one day, or your own. But first, if you're still with me, and this story hits a little too close to home, take a moment to hit that like, drop a comment, even if it's just your name, and subscribe to this channel. Not for me, for you, because I've got a lot more to share, and trust me, the stuff coming up could change everything. The 3 biggest memory killers after 65. Let's get real. You want to know what messes up your memory faster than forgetting where you put your glasses? 1. Sitting all day. When I turned 68, I became what I call a professional sitter. Couch potato with a PhD. And guess what? Sitting kills brain function. Less blood to the brain, less stimulation. It's like putting your brain in a jar of molasses. 2. Sugar, your sweet enemy. You think a donut now and then is harmless? That thing messes with your insulin, which messes with your brain. High sugar intake's been linked to faster cognitive decline. You think you're treating yourself, but you're sabotaging your sharpness. And 3. Isolation. This one hurt the most. After retirement, I slowly stopped meeting people. Days turned into weeks of silence. And silence, my friend, is poison for the aging mind. Conversation is like cardio for the brain. My new daily routine that saved me. All right, ready for the turnaround? Here's what I did. Might sound simple, but it's powerful. Morning mental stretches. First thing every morning, before coffee, I do a word game. Crossword, Sudoku, or just recite the names of all my grandkids out loud. That alone lit up my brain. Walking and talking. Every afternoon, I took a 30-minute walk and called someone while walking. That combo of movement and conversation is like a double shot of espresso for your neurons. Memory meals. I added more blueberries, walnuts, turmeric, and leafy greens. Oh, and cut out that sweet soda. Hurt like heartbreak, but my brain thanked me. Learning something weird. At 75, I started learning to play the ukulele. I sound like a strangled cat, but it boosted my memory like magic. Learning new things keeps the brain young. The most embarrassing memory slip I ever had. I promised jokes, right? Well, here's a gem. One Sunday, I went to the store to buy toilet paper. I came home with a pineapple, a spatula, and a lawn gnome. My wife looked at me like I had 2 heads. I stared at the bag and said, I could sworn this was important. She just shook her head and said, hope you don't plan to wipe with the gnome. Friend, don't ignore this. This ain't just about names. It's about independence, dignity, feeling human. You lose your memory, you start losing yourself, piece by piece, day by day. But here's the truth. You can fight back. And the earlier you start, the better. Because the real tragedy isn't forgetting names. It's forgetting you had a choice. And that's what this old man wants to give you. A choice. To act now. To learn, laugh, live, and remember. Keep your mind sharp, friend. You're not alone in this.
Now let me tell you what really shook me. It was a Tuesday morning. Ordinary, calm, nothing special. I was sitting on the porch sipping my tea when my granddaughter Emily came over to hug me. And I looked at her. I knew she meant the world to me. I knew I loved her, but I couldn't remember her name. I stared at her sweet face and my brain went blank like someone hit the mute button on my memory. She giggled, "Grandpa, you okay?" And I panicked. I hugged her, kissed her forehead, and I said, "Of course, baby girl." But I went into the house and cried like I hadn't cried since my mother passed away. You see, friend, when you forget names, it starts to feel like you're losing the threads that tie your life together. And when those threads start snapping, one name at a time, it feels like your world is coming undone. But I didn't stay down. I got angry. I got stubborn. I got to work. And now I'm going to share with you the little things I did daily, the kind of things I wish someone had shouted at me when I turned 65 and said, "Start now." Simple tricks I swear by. Chew gum. No kidding. The motion increases blood flow to the brain, preferably mint. Don't ask me why, but my brain dances when I chew mint gum. Just don't do it during a funeral like I did once. Got some angry looks. Talk to strangers. You think you know everyone worth knowing? I started chatting up people at the market, the park, even the pharmacy. Those conversations keep your memory wheels spinning. One time, I accidentally flirted with a nun, but that's another story for another day. Use smells. I keep a little jar of cinnamon and rosemary in my kitchen. When I start feeling foggy, I take a whiff. Smells hit the brain differently. Memory magic, I'm telling you. Say names out loud. When someone tells me their name, I say it back 3 times in conversation. "Nice to meet you, George." "So, George, what do you do?" "That's awesome, George." Yeah, I sound like a weirdo, but George remembers me too now. I also started doing something that sounds ridiculous. I sing my grocery list. Yep, instead of just writing it down, I'd make up a silly tune. Eggs, milk, and peanut butter, don't forget the bread for mother. It works. You'll remember your milk and get a smile in aisle 5. Let's talk about sleep. Now listen, if you're one of those folks who says, "I only need 4 hours of sleep," I've got news for you. You're lying to yourself. I used to brag about how little I slept until my brain felt like scrambled eggs. At 73, I read this article that said deep sleep clears brain waste, like literally washes out the toxins that mess with memory. You miss deep sleep, your brain becomes a junk drawer of forgotten birthdays and misplaced keys. So I got serious. No screens after 8 p.m., chamomile tea, dark, cool room. And here's the ticker. I play ocean sounds when I sleep. My wife thought I was nuts. "Why do I hear whales moaning at 2 a.m.? I said, "That's not whales, that's the sound of your husband getting smarter." She rolled her eyes, but she sleeps better now too. And when I started sleeping deeper, my recall sharpened up like a blade. Now I remember things I didn't even want to remember, like the time I tried to roller skate in corduroy shorts. Horrifying. The emotion trap. Here's something people don't talk about. Emotional clutter messes with memory too. I held on to anger, regret, old heartbreaks. I let guilt live rent-free in my brain. And guess what? That emotional junk took up space where memory should have been. So I forgave, not for others, for me. I wrote letters to people I'd wronged, even if I never sent them. I told my younger self, "You did the best you could." And somehow, I started remembering the good stuff more clearly, like my first dance with my wife, the smell of my dad's pipe, the sound of my kids' laughter echoing down the hallway. Emotions are like sticky notes. You want good ones, not old scribbled regrets. Now this one's a little weird. Ever tried closing your eyes and walking to the bathroom? I do it every morning. No lights, no guidance, just feeling my way there with memory. Why? It activates your internal mapping system, keeps your spatial memory active, keeps your brain curious. My son said, "Dad, you're gonna break your hip." I said, "Then bury me with my slippers. I'll go out training." Movement is memory. I can't stress this enough. Move. Not just walking. I mean dancing, stretching, lifting things even if it's just canned beans. I joined a senior dance class at 76. You think I can waltz? Heck no.
I looked like a refrigerator with knees. But every step lit up my brain like a Christmas tree. You move your body, you move your brain. That's how it works. If your legs get lazy, your brain gets lazy. And trust me, lazy brains forget birthdays, faces, even their own stories. And you, friend, deserve to remember your story. Biggest lie I ever believed. You're just getting old. That line there, it's the worst lie we tell ourselves. Getting older doesn't mean giving up your mind, your memories, or your sharp wit. It means training harder, loving deeper, laughing louder, and sometimes putting labels on your kitchen cabinets just to be safe. So don't let age be your excuse. Let it be your reason. My mind isn't what it used to be. It's better. I'm sharper now at 80 than I was at 65 because I stopped ignoring the signs. I stopped pretending. I stopped being passive. And I started living like my mind mattered. Every day I do one thing that challenges me. I talk. I stretch. I laugh. I forgive. I eat smart. I rest deep. I stay curious. And I remind myself, forgetting a name is not the end. It's the beginning of a fight worth showing up for. So friend, if you've been forgetting names lately, don't ignore it. Smile at it, then chase it down. Don't wait for the memory to come back. Go get it, like it owes you rent. You've got more life to live, more names to remember, more stories to tell. And if I've made you laugh even once, or made you think of someone you miss, drop a like, leave a comment, share your name. I'd love to remember you. You're not alone, friend. You've got an old man rooting for you every step of the way.